One person would watch whilst I was with somebody, and then it would literally just be like a rotating circle.
Do you know, it's like queuing for a wake. Except you're the one that's dead. Well, at least dead inside.
And you're literally standing pantless next to a man in a balaclava and another guy who's like wearing a Pikachu t-shirt from Pokemon.
Oh, hello everybody, and welcome to the second episode. Yes, the big number 2. Isn't that amazing, Chris?
Peter, quite frankly, it's I didn't think we would get here. It's also really funny there because before we started rolling, Peter thought about that for about 4 minutes and then said exactly the same thing we always say at the start of every episode, which is, hello, my name is Peter. I thought, I was looking at him going, well, what's he going to come out with? Like, it actually feels like he's building up to something.
Fuck
And now
off.
it's the exact same thing he says every time we start an episode. Congratulations, Peter.
I just wanted to have a certain, gravitas for the situation, and now you're mocking me.
I'm with you. Sorry, brother. I hear you.
This is a big occasion, man.
No, it is. I know it's huge, and it's very exciting.
We made it to the big 2 now, so we can just sit back and relax. I think this is an achievement in itself.
This is a huge achievement. No, for us, this is a massive achievement. You know how, like, a lot of podcasts would celebrate, like, their 1,000th episode or something? We should celebrate, like, our 5th episode. Do you know what I mean? Like, we should have a huge fanfare if we make it to 5 episodes.
Thank you so much to everyone who is helping this stream stay alive and very much invigorating us, shall we say.
Yeah, it has been great to chat with some of the fans and everything on Patreon. For once, I'm actually being serious there because Peter and I did say this in the last episode, and we're not just fucking around here.
Yeah.
People have been saying this for years. It seems that people actually wanted to be our friends, Peter. People really did just want to help and support us throughout life.
That is the hardest thing to believe.
I see, this is it. I don't think we could really accept that. So we are very grateful. We are sincerely grateful, and I mean that. It's I know, I'll certainly being candid, I think it's very cool to see. I know Peter does as well. He'll pretend he doesn't because he's too fucking cool and all that, but he definitely does. Also, I know this, by the way, you see, it depends on how you might watch this, because of course we're also on Spotify. However, I did want to address one particular comment that was brought to our attention by our broad social media. Hold on, let me get this. Rockstone Balls. Sorry, I had to go away from the camera there for a second to look at the screen. He says, Chris, you need to look at the camera. So here's the thing, Rockstone Balls, given that I'm now staring directly down the lens of the camera. Listen here, you fuck. Let me tell you, firstly, I'm looking at Peter. I'm looking at my partner, Peter, and I'm enjoying his energy. I'm enjoying his eclectic vibes.
You're lost in my gaze.
I'm also looking at screens and stuff of shit that's going on. So Rockstone, whatever the fuck your name is, if you really want more of me staring point blank down the camera at you like this, like, I gladly will, but I don't see what it's going to achieve. Like, here you go. Is this enough? Is this enough unbroken eye contact? Anyway, sorry, Peter, I had to address that.
Well, that clearly must have hit a nerve.
I hate him. I hate him. Can we block him? In fact, everybody's welcome in the Patreon except him or her. But let's be fair, it is a him. I think, some interesting stats also. We actually need like a separate category of like for our community, which is like the Peter and Chris show tomboys, because like, whoa, our audience is male. My goodness. It's a male audience. That is... For every one woman, there's 100 men.
And what a fantastic seg that is to our first topic, Chris.
What would that be, Peter?
How about 1,000 men for every woman?
Hey, I don't think our ratios are that bad, but I see where you're doing. I see where you're going with this. Nice. Very nice.
If you're Peter or Chris's mom listening, you best turn off now, okay? It's all a bit mental. There's no other way of putting it.
The big 1,000 was completely done.
A certain 12-hour world record.
All right, Chris, I think it's time to talk about Bonnie Blue.
Yes, the UK-based OnlyFans star who has reportedly slept with 1,000 men, and since then, of course, the outrage merchants and tabloids have been absolutely milking the story for all it's worth. Oh, stop.
I see what you did there. Do you know what? You are funny. You should be on the radio.
I should write some funny radio scripts, that's for certain.
Seriously, though, this coverage has been absolutely mind-boggling.
The latest headline, Bonnie Blue's shocking first interview since sordid sex stunt. This is just a warm-up.
A warm-up for what? I mean, the poor girl needs an ice bucket, not a new challenge.
She must be on fire at this point.
I don't need a wheelchair. Like, I am fine. Just feels like I've had a heavy day in the bedroom, which is exactly what I've had.
The real thing I don't understand is the logistics part.
Yeah, like 1,000 men. Like, honestly, one of my friends is a project manager. And I actually think, like, this is a job that actually requires a project manager. Like, you could put this on your CV after having done this. Coordinated the sex with 1,000 different men for Bonnie Blue. Like, this is a thing that like, is career defining.
One person would watch whilst I was with somebody, and then it would literally just be like a rotating circle.
Do you know, it's like queuing for a wake. Except you're the one that's dead. Well, at least dead inside.
I would actually find a wake less traumatizing than going to this event, even if I wasn't partaking.
The room was absolutely full.
Can you imagine the weird small talk? Like, you know, they're standing around going, how's the family?
Oh, you know, was at my nephew's christening there. It was all good. It was fine.
Did you lose many tiles in the wind?
Was your house okay? Yeah, your roof was okay, was it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Do you have a condom?
Yeah.
Would you happen to have a condom on you?
Come here while I'm talking to you. Just, what was that other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah. Have you ever used PrEP? And are you concerned about the dangers of contracting HIV?
The room was absolutely full.
And you're literally standing pantless next to a man in a balaclava and another guy who's like wearing a Pikachu t-shirt from Pokemon.
The funny thing is with this many people, you know some poor bastard ran into someone they've been avoiding.
Yeah, like someone you like lent your fucking like hedge trimmer to or something like that. And then like, or someone who like, maybe like you'd meet somebody who like, you know, like sometimes the way your partner can have friends and like you don't really get on with them, but you see them at things. So then it's like, oh fuck, it's this guy. And we're both here to have sex.
It's fucking Noel. Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
Classic Noel.
Oh, I hate this guy. And like, you know,
yeah.
You don't really like each other. Neither of you want to have the banter, but now you're both at this, so you have to kind of sort of acknowledge it.
It's really taken the shine off being 589 or whatever.
This was a happy day out, but now the day is ruined. I was having such a wholesome good time.
I think if it had continued how it did for the first sort of 3-4 hours, I would have struggled.
Can I say as well, it's really weird how everyone's in their socks here.
You know, well, there was definitely some married guy standing there looking down at his jolly socks. The ones his wife got him for Christmas.
Yeah, and there's like a little giraffe on them or something.
Yeah, you're just staring at the little cartoon giraffe on them and the giraffe is staring back, judging him.
Oh yeah, that's like when I was maybe in my childhood bedroom and like I wanted to, you know, enjoy myself. I would have to like cover certain things. Do you know what I mean? Because like I would just feel weird with them there. Otherwise, that happened. Absolutely, of course, I know exactly what you mean.
What have I done to you, giraffe? I'm sorry I've brought you into this.
Yeah, you're ruining the giraffe's innocence, man. This is horrible.
So it started off, I'll give you a bit of an overview, gangbangs after gangbangs to start with.
To go back to the logistics, fair play. Someone was definitely on Febreze duties here.
They'd have to have been, or they have to have one of those systems that's like constantly purifying the air. And I'm not just talking aircon. I'm talking like when a lab is dealing with like dangerous substances and stuff. They would have to have serious extraction going on in this room.
Well, they shepherd people up and down the stairs like a fucking air traffic controller.
Yeah, there's a guy with those little like fluorescent batons just directing people into...
directing them into Bonnie. Come on this way.
You know the way they say like in Heathrow a plane takes off every 60 seconds or whatever?
Yeah.
Like that's basically what was going on here.
I crunched the numbers and I think it's like someone who would have to be landing every 45 seconds or so.
Jesus.
Then we did groups of 5, like one after the other of 5s.
So then Bonnie says, hold on, the room was full and then we did groups of 5.
Then we did groups of 5.
I mean, I wonder did they think about like who was going to be compatible going into this room?
Or like at a wedding where you go in and like your name is like underneath a list and stuff and like there's little themes on the tables and all that. Yeah.
Like one after the other of 5s.
Can you like mix, can you bring your friends or like do you have to like, is it like speed dating?
I can tell you for a fact though, this certainly would not work in Ireland.
We don't have the patience for queuing like this.
Also, I don't think we'd have the decorum for it.
Yeah.
If their friends showed up as well, they'd be like trying their best to put them off. They'd be shouting the name of their dead dog and stuff while they're going into the room.
And another guy screaming the first few seconds of Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire. There would just be all of that.
Someone would fart. Just weaponized chaos, really.
Yeah, of course. Like in school, when you're trying to do like an assignment, you're trying to do like something you have to do for music in your junior cert, and you're trying to, and all the lads are like throwing stuff at you. We would simply not take this seriously. We would not take this very serious 1,000-man sex event seriously.
heavy day in the bedroom.
Do you know what's interesting about this, though, on a genuine note? There's actual porn star beef going on here, because I know this.
Go on.
I say I know this as though I'm an industry insider, like I saw some fucking clip of it on YouTube, but apparently this idea was stolen from another adult performer, Lily Phillips, I believe.
Wow.
Is the person who originally planned to do this. So now there's like the equivalent of a rap beef.
A porn star rap beef, I see.
Yeah, exactly. Except instead of like diss tracks, we're doing, I don't know, like it's a cold war of who can take the most penises in 24 hours. And that's not even a joke. They literally just keep trying to outdo each other. Like, and it's with that. It's not even with anything legitimate or fucking like we'll say anything that adds any type of integrity to you. It's like, oh, you took 1,000. I'm going to take 10,000. I'm going to split the atom inside my vagina. There's going to be so many penises. I'm going to put a nuclear reactor. I'm going to develop cold fusion inside my vagina. It's fucking so weird.
Another strange thing, there's also think pieces out now claiming this is actually empowering, and that Lily and Bonnie should be seen as feminist icons, apparently.
This is what Konstanz Markovic fought for back in the day, Peter.
Look, my granny was a feminist. My granny was an outspoken feminist all her life, but I don't think this is what she was really envisioning for the future. Two girls going head to head in a nuclear arms race with their vaginas. I don't think that was quite the aspirational goal.
Like, what is the next target here, genuinely? Like, how do you keep outdoing this? Have either of them come out with another stupid thing now to get them into the paper?
10,000. If you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Let's just keep adding that shit on. Yeah.
Have you seen the picture of the room after 1,000 people? Can you imagine how bad it would smell after 10,000 people?
Honestly, I think they'd have to turn it into like... It would have to be something like, you know, where war crimes occur and then they just seal that place off and they say, we're never doing anything here again. Like, they'd have to just do that with it. It would just turn into some weird type of memorial. Like, it would be like the killing fields in Cambodia or something. Like, you'd just be unable to ever have a normal existence in that area.
I see Bonnie Blue is hyping up the possibilities already.
I want to do something very creative and that's not been done before.
This is like the JFK moon speech, but instead of pushing human endurance, we're testing the limits of smell endurance.
While Bonnie was busy making history in one way, older Irish women are also just as pervy in their own way, as it turns out. Irish entertainer Garron Noone seems to be unable to live a normal existence without older, maternal women making advances towards him.
Hey, I think it's fair to say we all love Garen. He's a extremely entertaining fella.
Also, you know what's really interesting about, and this is a real testament to Irish people, because we love complaining about everything. I've never met someone who dislikes Garen. Everybody thinks he's cool. It's very unusual in Ireland.
It is very unusual. But yeah, he comes across as a proper nice guy. But there's a very unique phenomenon occurring right now, and you can see it in any comment section involving Garen.
What is it?
A certain type of fan writing long, interesting messages to him.
Okay.
And those are horny mammies and grannies galore.
Oh, yes.
So these interactions vary from innocent enough chats like Amber here.
Legend, have to say he's my guilty pleasure. Would love to be cuddled up on a couch with him. I'd be cradle snatching at my age, but still... What?
Amber Yadivalia.
It's this weird kind of very non-threatening horniness, where it's like, oh, I'd love to fill his belly with dinner kind of thing. But there is this weird Oedipus or whatever the fuck kind of thing going on where you aren't really sure what they mean by it.
Yeah, it starts, with I'd love to fill his belly with dinner, and then it sort of goes to I hope he fills my belly with,
Oh, I see. Hold on. This comment on the screen, I see what you mean.
This epic three-parter from Eileen, who honestly looks like she is old enough to be a pensioner, but we aren't showing the pictures of these people.
Yeah, out of dignity and respect for these people. We're actually saving these people from themselves. Jesus.
And we're doing it for your kids and grandkids. Let's be honest as well.
That is true. We're doing it so your kids don't get bullied in school, basically. I have a job for you, Garen. Come see if I am delicious too. Next message. If you know what I mean. Next message. In certain place. I didn't know what she meant until she said in certain place. Otherwise, I was floored.
Eileen.
In certain place, Peter.
Eileen, I'm glad you clarified.
You know what, actually, in terms of evaluating the Riz here, in terms of evaluating the game here, Peter, I have a job for you, Garen. Come see if I'm delicious too. I'm like, you know what? Cheesy, ridiculous, but okay. Like, fine. You're shooting your shot. Then, if you know what I mean, getting a little desperate has certainly lost its funniness. And then, in a certain place.
Eileen, you should have quit while you're ahead. All you're missing now is in me fanny.
Garen, I want you to perform cunnilingus on me. That's like, that should have been the fourth line of the message. Jesus. Edited at 24 minutes past 1 a.m.
And finally, we have Margaret here who writes, Garen, I want to tell you how much your humour lights up my days, and we can talk about how ridiculously charismatic you are. You've got this energy that's just incredibly captivating. Watching you is a serious boost to my mood, and yeah, not gonna lie, you're pretty easy on the eyes too.
Okay, so far I'm just like, this is a lonely person, but like, this isn't the worst. Yeah, I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Speaking of which, your guitar skills, absolutely killer. The way you handled those strings has me thinking.
Okay, alright, now I know where we're going. Yep.
Imagine what those fingers could do. I mean, if you could play guitar like that, the possibilities must be endless. Right, what other things can you do? I would like to know. Ha ha ha. Only joking. Or am I? Keep being amazing. Well, Margaret, keep being amazing with your wonderful use of language there. I mean, we went on quite a journey.
What I've noticed as well about these women is they really can't just fucking leave it. Like, you know, they've made the point, then they make it again, then they make it again in a less funny, less sexy, less obvious way, and then they make it again. I'm like, I thought women were the better ones at being subtle with all of this stuff. It's usually women that are better at.
But here's the absolute best thing about this message. It doesn't stop there, because if you scroll down, 7 messages in the thread, okay? Look here. Margaret has posted again this time. But this time, she's just wrote the word fingers in capital letters.
Yes. No, we understood. We got what you were. We got what you were going for.
Clearly, the wine has kicked in. That's.
I didn't know that was coming. I was only joking with you earlier, and then that's literally what she does.
That's the second battle of wine for you.
Oh God.
Yeah.
This is definitely like what they do to Daniel O'Donnell. You know the way there's this weird, sexless group of women that like Daniel O'Donnell in a really weird, asexual, yet really threatening sexual way? This is what I'd imagine getting sexted by a nun would be like. You know, someone that thinks they understand it but doesn't really understand it. They've never experienced it. It's very weird.
Can you imagine some of the pictures you must get sent from these ladies?
Oh, stop. I don't even want to think about that. Oh Jesus.
A mutton mail.
It's safe to assume that these ladies are not from rural areas in the west of Ireland, however, as many people from there are still without power following Storm Eowyn. Just don't expect too much sympathy from the big city folks about this hardship, however.
Did you see Micheál Martin getting an absolute grilling about his slow response to the storm crisis?
I did. Before we continue, though, can I just say as well, this fucking storm was so annoyingly named. Eoin, A1, Eoin. Like, Jesus, as well as all the damage it caused, can we just have a really simple, easy to pronounce name for these things? Like, we've so many easy names to choose from. Do we have to... Eowyn, Eoin.
Ireland's most damaging storm and most annoyingly named storm of a generation.
So, I think what was going on with this was basically, as the fallout from Storm Eowyn continues, many households in Ireland are still struggling without power or water. I feel like I'm doing one of those appeal ads on TV. And the Taoiseach was basically told, in no uncertain terms, by this lady in Roscommon, that the response from the government hasn't been good enough. It's
funny how he keeps stirring his tea faster and faster here, nervously. I mean, you could power a few fucking houses with that stirring alone, I think.
I think this is what the youth call stimming. He's obviously very uncomfortable, so he's just focusing every bit of energy he has on stirring that cup of tea. And I tell you, Peter, if he focused as well now on running the country as he's running that cup of tea, we'd have a great old country, wouldn't we?
We would.
Only things Irish lads would say.com.
What I found really interesting, though, about all this coverage was the comments from Dublin people who are completely indifferent to the suffering of us poor folk in the West.
Rory says, lots of people on here complaining, but I bet it's nice to slow down for a change. We're always so rushed in this city. They should enjoy the break from all the chaos and reconnect with nature. You know what? This is really funny.
Who needs dialysis machines when you can just reconnect with nature? Yeah, exactly. Good man, Rory.
This type of guy reminds me, right, of... I used to be a waiter, as I mentioned in the last episode, in a hotel. And sometimes, it was in the west of Ireland, by the way, really nice 4-star hotel. It would get quite an upmarket, upper middle class clientele. And sometimes they would literally say things like, my God, I just love how shit it is down here. Do you know what I mean? Love how you guys, I love how the roads are really shit. I love how there's no internet. I love how you guys just live like fucking savages. I wish I could live like you guys. No M50. No running regular bus service. Oh, it's beautiful down here.
Do you know what? You're all so quaint.
And you're like, yes, thank you. It's great having 2 buses into the city in a 12-hour period to choose from.
Saoirse says, a week without electricity is not end of the world. What about using time to enjoy the simple pleasures of life, like reading a book by candlelight?
Oh, that is so good. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to churn my own butter. I think that's what I'm going to do with this downtime. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to die of a perfectly treatable infection. Just for the fun of it, just to really get back to nature.
Yeah, great idea, Saoirse. We'll all be warmed by the steam of the piss that you're giving us here.
Tristan says, I'm sure it's kind of romantic in a way, living by candlelight and all that. It's like stepping back in time, sounds pretty special. No joke, this is literally the kind of stupid shit people used to say when I was... people from Dublin used to say when they would come down to where I worked as a teenager. This is literally the type of stuff they would say.
Yeah, it's romantic all right until you trip over your fucking toddler and set the curtains on fire with a candle, Tristan. Very romantic.
Nothing says romance like trying to, sterilize bottles for a screaming child by candlelight. A really hungry little infant. You know what we should bring back? Potato blight. Do you remember when there was potato blight? Wasn't that cool?
It's just pretty special to me.
I love that.
It gets worse. Harper says, this is the perfect time to dust off those old board games and spend some quality family time. It's not often you get a chance like this to truly unplug. Of course, because nothing says family bonding like your kids beating the shite out of each other trying to play Kerplunk by flashlight.
Also, these people have a very rose-tinted view. Like, don't get me wrong, I remember as a kid a power cut used to be almost kind of fun.
Yeah.
But like fun for like 4 minutes. And then it was just incredibly...
Not for like 2 fucking weeks at this stage.
Yeah, that literally, west of Ireland, no electricity. This is literally just 1845 for these people. Like, that's literally all that's going on.
Get a load of Sybil. Read Sybil out here. This is a whopper.
Okay, let me see. Let me get this up here. Sybil says, spent time in Galway as a child, and they are more used to rough life. A week without electricity probably isn't as hard for them as it would be for us. You know what? I actually am going to agree with you on that. Unfortunately, us Galway people did have to develop a certain rougher, more cavalier attitude to life because of shit like this. I won't lie.
Oh, piss off. Sybil, when was the last time you were in Galway, you fucking fossil?
I love Galway. I just love the way you don't do anything down there and you're all so shit and there's no economy and everything. It's really quaint. I love it.
The last time Sybil was there, she got the train out to Connemara.
Yeah, she got the train which was carrying coal out to Connemara, yeah. She was on one of the British railways for supplies.
There was a nice RIC policeman took her ticket and showed her which way to go. Come on. Okay, finally, I think Rosemary wins the prize here for most out-of-touch Dubliner. She says, if people are desperate, they should just go stay in a hotel or something similar like that based on local availability. Yeah, fucking Rosemary, maybe we should all go to Ashford Castle or something, perhaps. Why not?
I'm gonna book into Dromoland Castle, where I think like the smallest room is 900 per night. And I'll just stay there for the next 2.5 weeks till my electricity's back. That's perfect. I wish I had thought of that.
All you peasants west of the Shannon, you can go stay in a hotel if such a thing exists there, or if not, failing that, maybe a tavern.
What about a workhouse? Could you guys maybe check yourselves into a workhouse and you could work and maybe they'd give you some soup or some stew if you did a day's work? Wouldn't that be available to you guys?
Fulloch Fia for the weekend, and you'll be happy out.
Yeah, just cooking a Fulloch Fia. We're always learning. For some reason, if you're listening to this outside of or watching this outside of Ireland, in school every single Irish person knows what a Fulloch Fia is, and it's basically a hole they dug in the ground and they put hot water in and then throw hot rocks into it, and that's how they boil shit.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we all know what that is. So worst case scenario, we could have just gotten one of those together.
Fulloch Fia. Yeah, that's where we are now. Thank you very much, Dublin Mary Antoinette there.
Not to worry though, lads. If it's annoying when people don't show enough attention on you, it's even worse when they suddenly become overly interested. Take the people in Greenland, for example.
Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally. So you have to ask yourself, how are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first.
Greenland have been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country. It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, f*** off.
Can I be honest here? I'm going to give you a guilty pleasure here. Like, don't get me wrong, the Trump stuff is all absolutely exhausting. Everybody has fucking endless takes on Trump. It is so boring. However, I really like this Greenland nonsense. Like, this is a plot line I actually think is really fun. I have no idea why, but this really appeals to me. And I have no idea. It's also because I think of how stupid it would look on a map if they actually did then own Greenland.
So in case you're living under a rock, I'll explain that Donald Trump has repeated his demand to be given control of Greenland just for the lols.
I think Greenland will be worked out with us. I think we're going to have it. I don't know really what claim Denmark has to it, but it would be a very unfriendly act if they didn't allow that to happen, because that's for protection of the free world. It's not for us, it's for the free world.
And the Yanks are saying some pretty damn interesting things online all of a sudden about annexing.
I also guarantee you that these people could not point out where Greenland is on a map. But they're totally down with using lethal force to seize it.
Oh, of course.
I was even looking at some of the guys were strategizing on some of the war sections of Reddit or whatever about how they might do it. So they're like, well, what you do is you'd increase troops on the bases there, and then you'd start doing exercises there. And I'm like, these people are the worst fantasists. I actually prefer people who do those stupid things like who would win, Spider-Man or Batman, if you get me. Those conversations are actually less deranged than this stuff.
Somebody on Reddit here, Abject Western, says Greenland has a population of 56,000. The US has 350 million. It wouldn't even take a day if the US decided to invade.
It wouldn't, he's saying that as though there'd be any type of war. Of course it wouldn't take a day. It wouldn't take anything. It's not like they're going to mount it's not like this is going to be the Vietnam War here and 20,000 brave fishermen of Greenland are somehow going to fight off the US Army. Nobody's thinking that. Abject Western,
this is not a debate. You're proving nothing here. Somebody else says, I mean, if we take Greenland by force, who's going to stop us? And then finally, somebody chips in with, fuck them if they want to do this the hard way. When we're done with Greenland, it won't be so green anymore. Ha 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 ha.
I don't even think it's that green to begin with at the moment.
I think it's not. But if you search hashtag Denmark on any social media platform now, it's never been more clear that less than 50% of the US population has a passport. But 97% of the population has internet access.
They certainly all have internet access and opinions, even if not a passport or any knowledge of the world outside of the US.
So how do we guard ourselves from this in the future?
Do you think he could turn on us? Do you think we're next?
We could be.
Did you see, this is what I think. Did you see during the week there was talk of Diageo, the company that owns Guinness, selling Guinness?
Oh yeah.
Did you see this? I think they confirmed that they weren't going to.
Yeah.
But a big report did go around with Diageo saying they were considering selling off the Guinness arm of the business.
Yes, and I believe it was something valued at 10 billion because sales are at an all-time high now in both the US and the UK.
Yes. Yeah, it's really cool now in both the US and the UK. Now even young women and stuff are drinking it. It used to just be a drink for 60-year-old men, but now it is extremely cool.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. You know how they say basically, there's always a dominant thing in any kind of era that if you control that, you're doing okay. So like nuclear weapons, like whatever AI is said to be it now. Is there any way we can leverage the tremendous power of Guinness? Can we nationalize Guinness?
Dude.
Can the Irish government acquire Guinness?
Dude, we'll just take the Apple money.
Okay.
And we'll buy Guinness with it.
That's actually, that would be, can you oh my God, you know how we actually used to do like we did last year, towards the end of last year, jokes about like what we should do with that Apple money.
Yeah.
That is actually a great idea, Peter. Literally, the Irish government goes, listen, we just got a $13 billion windfall from Apple having to pay some tax here. Guinness, what is your price? And we are going to literally nationalize Guinness. It will be a Guinness in every household, Peter. There will be a Guinness tap in every household in this country. Young people will play together under Guinness fountains. It will be a utopia.
And here's the thing. Once we control the Guinness, we use that to project our power worldwide. So we're kind of like a global pub. If the US starts being dickheads to us, or if any other nation starts being a dickhead to us, we cut off the Guinness.
You know how they say in this day and age, soft power is more important than ever?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the soft power that an Irish pub holds globally? There are Irish pubs everywhere. There are Irish pubs in Nigeria. There are Irish pubs fucking up mountains in Nepal. Can you imagine if we, as the Irish people, owned Guinness? It would be incredible. This is how we insulate ourselves from any attack. We don't need to join NATO.
Yeah.
We don't need to improve our military.
Who needs a navy?
Peter, does the world not know that we're good crack? That's all we need. We're good crack, and then we will own Guinness. So let me tell you something. That is formidable.
We will never be in a position to cut off oil or anything like that, but we can cut off the black stuff of our own.
Hey, listen, barrels of that will still be $200 a barrel or whatever the fuck oil prices are. And remember during the Iraq War when the US nearly collapsed because of how much petrol cost?
Yeah.
What? Don't think we can't do it, US. Don't think we can't fucking do it. Don't think we won't. Don't think that this won't also have serious consequences.
You've been warned.
Oddly enough, the possible sale of Guinness wasn't this week's biggest corporate eyebrow raiser. Instead, a British retailer stole the spotlight with their own creative spin on unpaid labour.
So I like this. I'm all about crime and punishment, Peter. I'm a real boomer and I love seeing people go to prison and go down for crimes. Well, apparently in the UK, they're now considering sentencing criminals to work in Iceland.
Like the country?
No, like the supermarket chain Iceland in the UK.
The fucking supermarket. They're being sentenced to work in a supermarket.
Yes.
I was about to say that sounds like an upgrade. You know, you shoplifted a bottle of Buckfast and now you go to live in a peaceful, progressive Nordic paradise.
Instead of going to prison, you become a cashier. Like, you have to work in retail. Like, that's it. That's the punishment.
Capitalism is the punishment.
Yeah, yes, exactly. The punishment is having to engage with capitalism. That's the punishment.
Finally a justice system that I can understand.
This is not Australia 2.0. The CEO of Iceland, Richard Walker, says that this is a win-win now, apparently. So not just the CEO is happy about this, we should all be happy about this, Peter, because it stops petty criminals from going to prison, and, oh, would you look at that? It helps with staff shortages.
Oh, well.
Isn't that brilliant?
Isn't that convenient?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because what a supermarket really needs is a staff of people who are legally obligated to be there. Iceland has literally just invented a penal colony.
Yes, basically.
I mean, what the fuck is with the British inventing penal colonies anyway?
Can they go like 30 seconds without inventing a penal colony? Penal colony. Australians, by the way, absolutely seething right now.
They're going to be restocking the frozen aisle like it's Squid Game.
Yes, they'll be out here speed running customer service while regular employees are still like fake smiling through their teeth at a Karen and stuff or pretending they don't want to set fire to the premises. But these guys will be invested. These guys will be properly invested.
Do you know what? They should go full dystopia now and just fucking put shock collars on them. Why not? If we're going grimdark, we might as well go full grimdark.
Yeah, 6,000 volt shock if you try to leave. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We literally, because we're in the final stages of capitalism here. We're in late stage capitalism. Let's just do it. Let's take the mask off and let's do it.
Oh, And speaking of late-stage capitalism,
Patreon.com/epicnews. There's some tiers on there. You can support us. It is tremendous fun.
Yeah, so once again, that is patreon.com/epicnews.
Sure. Is that patreon.com/epicnews, Peter? God, this reminds me of when I was on fucking radio. Jesus, this is awful. And a big thanks to patreon.com/epicnews for this.
Text Patreon to...
What do you think of... What's your favorite biscuit? By the way, patreon.com/epicnews. So listen, go on and do that. And I want to say this as well. It has genuinely been wonderful that people have reached out, that they have supported us, that they've been so kind, that they've been so genuinely nourishing and nurturing. I have never felt unconditional love like this in my life, quite frankly.
So much incredible messages of support. We really, really appreciate it.
And I mean that, really. And we've tried to reply, I think, to an awful lot of people.
Yeah.
On there. It's funny, I keep typing things as though I'm Peter. So I say, I'm stupid, regards Peter. And I find that very funny. So I just want to say as well, in case Peter sues me for libel, that that's me doing it as a practical joke and it's not actually Peter sending those messages.
Well, thanks for letting me know now, at least.
It's very exciting, Peter, and I'm genuinely touched people's reaction.
Really quickly before we wrap up this week, let's kick it over to Uncle Gabatron again. He might have some more words of encouragement.
Okay, sure. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. As we close the chapter on the long, often challenging month of January, let's take a moment to acknowledge the strength and perseverance each of you has shown. Now, as we turn our faces towards the promise of spring, let's think about the growth that awaits us. Not just the blooming of flowers and the warming of the earth, but our personal growth as well. Each day that lengthens, each sunbeam that grows stronger, mirrors the potential that lies within us. This is a time for planting seeds, not only in the soil, but within ourselves. Set your goals high, like Bonnie Blue, and strive to exceed them, no matter the odds or the smell. Be bold and unapologetic, and embrace the confidence of a horny granny on Facebook, messaging Garen. And in your endeavors, channel the unhinged spirit of Trump with Greenland. Don't take no for an answer when it comes to chasing your dreams, even if it means pushing the boundaries of the conventional, or perhaps even breaking international law. Congratulations on making it this far. And here's to growing, flourishing, and thriving in the days to come. Unless you're Peter and Chris, in which case you will always be two useless cunts. Go fuck yourself.
Has he gotten worse than last week?